Have you ever just sat there? Not crying. Not angry. Not excited. Just numb. Like the noise inside you went dead quiet, and you don't know if that's peace or if something's gone missing. That's not laziness. That's not weakness. That's a kind of silence that can scream louder than pain. There are times when you don't want anything. Not because you're giving up. But because you're exhausted, the kind of tired sleep doesn't fix. The kind of tired that builds up from years of trying, grinding, holding yourself together. And now, it's like your body's still moving, but something inside you hit pause. This video isn't some loud pep talk. It's a breath. A small moment to say, you're allowed to just be. Because that's where real momentum starts, not with hustle, but with stillness. Psychiatrist Irvin Yalom once wrote, "People don't really want to change. They just want relief from pain." And that's true. We're not chasing dreams, we're just trying to breathe without guilt. I remember talking to a guy, 29, who said, "I don't want to accomplish anything right now. I just want to wake up and not feel like I'm failing at being alive." He wasn't lazy. He was burned out. He spent so long trying to become someone that he forgot how to be himself. So I told him what I'm telling you now. You don't need to become a better version of yourself. You need to come back to yourself. Small steps. Not a marathon. Not a 5-year plan. Just today, stand up. Tomorrow, look out the window. The next day, wash one dish. That's it. James Clear writes in Atomic Habits. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. And if the system is exhaustion, then maybe the bravest thing we can do is build a new one. One that's soft. Honest. Human. Not be your best self, but be okay being yourself. 6 to 7:30, Personal Talk. I know what it's like to scroll on your phone and feel nothing. Just hoping something, anything, hits. But sometimes, even sadness doesn't come. Just silence. And in that silence, I want you to know, I'm with you. No advice. No you shoulds. Just me, sitting quietly beside you. You're not broken. You're not failing. You're human. And right now, you're tired. That's all. And that's okay. 7:30 to 8:30, Final thought/emotional takeaway. Remember what Viktor Frankl wrote in Man's Search for Meaning. When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. But not in a harsh, pushy way. In a gentle way. A way that begins with just breathing. One breath. One glass of water. One honest, I'm not okay. That's a beginning. That's movement. That's life. Next time, we'll talk about how to find purpose when every day feels the same. But for now, just breathe. I'm right here with you. Have you ever opened your eyes in the morning and thought, why even get up? Same walls. Same steps. Same thoughts in your head. There's no big tragedy. No drama. And still, you feel like running. Not quitting. Just escaping. That's not laziness. That's the quiet death of meaning. And it's more terrifying than pain. There's a version of burnout no one talks about, the one where everything looks fine on the outside. You're working. You're eating. You're scrolling. But inside, you've checked out. You're not in crisis. But you're not really here either. And the scariest part? The thought that maybe, this is all life will ever be. This video isn't about finding your passion or crushing your goals. It's about something simpler. How to feel alive again, when every day feels like copy-paste. Psychologist Kurt Lewin once said, "To move a person, you don't just need force. You need to change their environment." And that hit me. Because sometimes we're not broken, we're just stuck in an environment that no longer fits. Like a guy I worked with, 34 years old. He had a stable job, good money, a decent life. But every morning he told me, "I don't want to quit. I just want to run away." Weekends didn't feel like rest. Wins didn't feel like joy. He was living in wait mode, like standing on a subway platform with no final stop. We didn't talk about dreams. We talked about the tiny things that make you feel real again. Coffee on a street you've never walked. 5 minutes of music without your phone. Staring at the sky for no reason at all. Mark Manson once said, "Sometimes, all the meaning we need is just one reason to get out of bed." That reason can be anything. A podcast. A crack of light on your ceiling. The sound of rain. Your own voice whispering, "I'm still here." That's not living your best life. But it's a start. Because meaning doesn't crash down from the sky. It grows, from the little things you choose to care about. I've been there. That feeling where you're watching your own life like a rerun and asking, "What's the point of tomorrow?" And the answer isn't in pushing harder. It's in sitting beside yourself and asking, "What's one thing I want to feel this week?" Not achieve. Not fix. Just feel. It could be calm. Or warmth. Or curiosity. Whatever it is, that's your thread. And pulling on it is the most important thing you can do. 7:30 to 8:30, final thought/emotional takeaway. Maybe life didn't give you a new stage. But you can still give yourself a new role. No drama. No big reset. Just one small move. Today, I'll do one thing differently. And maybe, just maybe, that'll be the first step back to feeling alive. Next time, we'll talk about inner resistance. Why we sometimes sabotage the things we actually want. And how to finally stop getting in our own way. Why do we keep delaying the things we actually care about? Not the things we should do, the ones we want. You know you want to leave that job, but you stay. You want to start, to write, to speak up, but something stops you. Is it fear? Laziness? Or is it something deeper? This is about resistance, that invisible wall we hit right before we act. You can plan, prepare, visualize, and still feel frozen. That's not weakness. That's your protection system kicking in. But what exactly is it trying to protect you from? And how do you stop being at war with your own desires? Brené Brown says, "We're not afraid of failing. We're afraid of shame." Because if I try and fail, maybe I'll believe I was never enough. I worked with a woman in her late 20s. She had this beautiful creative idea. She took all the right courses, mapped everything out. But every time she got close to launching, she'd find a new reason to wait. It wasn't procrastination. It was fear of losing the dream. As long as you haven't started, you still have hope. Once you start, you risk it all. Stephen Pressfield, in The War of Art, puts it this way. The more important a call is to our soul, the more resistance we will feel toward pursuing it. Because real dreams make us vulnerable. They're not nice to have. They hurt when we don't follow them. And then the voices come. What if I fail? Who do I think I am? What will they say? We don't stop because we can't. We stop because we're scared of the feeling that might come next. I know that feeling, standing at the door, hand on the handle, but frozen. Because while it's still closed, there's still a chance something good is on the other side. But what if I open it, and there's nothing? That fear isn't weakness. It's your nervous system trying to keep you safe. Sometimes you're not lazy, you're scared. But scared doesn't mean stuck. Let the fear walk beside you. You don't need to be fearless. You just need 5 seconds of courage. Irvin Yalom wrote. Freedom brings responsibility. And that's what terrifies us. But fear doesn't mean stop. It means this matters. So don't run from the resistance. Walk through it. Gently. You don't need to be ready. You just need to move anyway. Sometimes, that's all it takes to rewrite everything. Next time, we'll talk about losing yourself. What to do when you look in the mirror and don't recognize the person staring back. Ever looked in the mirror and thought, who even is that? Same eyes. Same face. But the light feels gone. Like you scattered into pieces and never quite came back together. You're not falling apart. You're just not sure who you are anymore. There are moments when it's not just burnout. It's a loss of connection with yourself. You're functioning. Answering messages. Planning things. But inside? Empty. You don't feel your wants. You don't know what matters to you anymore. And it's not always a dramatic breakdown. Sometimes it's just a quiet disappearing act. Today we're talking about that feeling. How we lose ourselves, and how, gently, piece by piece, we start to come back. A woman I worked with, 36 years old, told me. I have a family, a job, good friends. But I can't remember the last time I genuinely loved something. I don't even know what I like anymore. I feel like I'm living someone else's life. That's not depression. That's disconnection from your authentic self. You spend years being the good employee, the dependable daughter, the strong one. Until one day, you realize you don't know who you are without the roles. Brené Brown writes. What truly exhausts us isn't work. It's living a life that's not aligned with who we really are. That kind of fatigue builds slowly. Until one day, you just stop. And nothing makes sense anymore. So what do? We start searching for ourselves, through books, new habits, fresh goals. But here's the thing. You don't find yourself out there. You reconnect by listening, honestly, to what's already inside. If you feel like you don't recognize yourself, that's not failure. That's an invitation to re-meet the person you've always been. I've felt that too. Sitting in a cafe, surrounded by laughter, conversations, music. And inside, total silence. Like you're a guest in your own life. That kind of lostness is scary. Because you don't even know where to begin. But here's the truth. You don't have to figure it all out. You just need to find one small thread. What makes you feel even a little bit grounded? What sound calms you? What smell brings comfort? What space makes you exhale? Those are your anchors. And the more you notice them, the closer you get to yourself again. Irvin Yalom once said, "We don't find ourselves once and for all. We choose ourselves again and again." You don't have to remember who you were. You can create who you are becoming. Softly. Slowly. Without pressure. Today, give yourself permission not to know. Just listen to what inside you is whispering. Even if it's just silence. That, too, is a beginning. Next time, we'll talk about apathy. What to do when you don't want anything. Not even change. What if you woke up and felt nothing? No joy. No fear. No pain. Just silence. Not the peaceful kind. The kind that pulls you under. That's apathy. And it can be scarier than sadness. Because it feels like you've disappeared. Apathy is when you don't even want to want. Not because you're lazy. But because your nervous system is whispering. We've held on too long. Please, let me shut down for a while. It doesn't always come from tragedy. Sometimes it's just the wear and tear of being fine for too long. And the worst part? We start blaming ourselves. But the truth is, there's nothing wrong with you. Your body didn't give up, it's protecting you. The only way through apathy is with softness. Psychiatrist Bruce Perry says, apathy happens when even the emotional centers of the brain are worn out. It's not weakness. It's survival mode. I knew a guy, 31. He spent 6 months feeling absolutely nothing. No motivation. No joy. No sadness. Movies. Nothing. Food. Tasteless. Conversations. Numb. Motivational quotes didn't help. They made him angry. Because you can't force yourself to care when your whole system is fried. So we didn't start with goals. We started with the body. One small thing. Each morning, he'd place his hand over his heart. Just to feel. Just to breathe. You can't run when your insides are frozen. And you shouldn't have to. Irvin Yalom once wrote, sometimes the bravest thing we can do is stay with what is. Not fix. Not run. Just be with it. Because in that stillness, your voice will start to return. I've been there too. That moment when everyone seems to be doing things, dreaming, running forward. And you just want the noise to stop. And that's okay. Don't force yourself to want. Live slower. Gentler. Give yourself permission to rest from the inside out. Because this apathy it's honest. It's your system saying, I'm tired. Please listen. Let yourself heal. And the little signals will come back. The first spark of taste. The first warm memory. The first quiet, maybe. Apathy isn't failure. It's a pause. It's not the end of you. It's your body asking for a restart. So today, don't push. Don't chase goals. Don't hype yourself up. Just drink water. Breathe deeper. Look at the world, even if it doesn't move you yet. Feelings return. They always return, to those who wait with kindness. Next time, we'll talk about falling behind in life. That feeling that everyone's moving forward, except you. Do you ever feel like life is a race? But somehow everyone else started running. And you're still tying your shoes. Careers. Relationships. Travel. Success. Everyone seems to be somewhere. And you're just figuring out what you don't want. And the question echoes. Did I miss my shot? This isn't a pep talk about, you've got time. This is a real conversation for the person who feels. I've been left behind. Not because you were lazy. But because life happened, grief, caretaking, burnout, surviving. This video is here to say. Life isn't linear. And no, you're not too late. There's a concept in psychology called asynchronous development. It means we all grow on different timelines. Some people find purpose at 22. Others, at 44. That's not failure. That's rhythm. Author John Bradshaw said. True maturity doesn't arrive on time. It arrives when we're finally strong enough to hold it. I know a woman, 39. In her 20s, she cared for her sick mother. In her 30s, she lost everything in a personal crisis. Now, she's learning how to paint. She says, this is the first thing that feels mine. Is that too late? Elizabeth Gilbert once said. People ask if it's too late to start. I ask, what else is this time for? As long as you're breathing, it's not too late. Comparison doesn't just kill joy. It kills your connection to yourself. I know that voice in your head that says. Look at them. They're so far ahead. And me? I haven't even started. But you don't know what they've sacrificed. You don't see their inner battles. You only see the highlight reel. And you? You've endured. You've grown. You're here. That's not standing still, that's ripening. And ripening isn't a pause. It's preparation. Maybe you're not late. Maybe you're exactly on time, just walking a different path. Comparison is a thief. It steals your attention from your own life. Today, try seeing yourself like a garden. Some flowers are blooming. You're still beneath the soil. But that doesn't mean you're behind. It means your spring is just different. You're not late. You're just not done becoming. The final part is coming next. And it's all about hope. What it really means to start over when everything feels gone. What if you're not breaking down? You're just outgrowing the life that no longer fits. What if that feeling, where everything's falling apart, isn't the end? but the soil for something true to grow. Because sometimes, to find yourself, you have to let go of everything that's not you. This episode is about starting over. Not in some dramatic, perfect way, but in a quiet, honest one. Starting over isn't failure. It's courage. It's standing in the middle of your life and saying, I'm tired of running from myself. And even if I don't know where I'm going, I want it to be real. A man I knew, 42 years old, once told me, I built the life I was supposed to, family, house, business. But one morning I woke up, and realized I hadn't been living. I'd just been following a script that wasn't mine. He didn't leave everything out of crisis. He left out of clarity. He didn't know what was next, but he knew what wasn't. Elizabeth Gilbert said, there's a kind of bravery in walking away from what isn't yours, even if you don't yet know what is. Starting over doesn't mean destroying everything. It means creating space to meet yourself for the first time in years. Viktor Frankl wrote, life never stops having meaning. We just sometimes lose sight of it. Meaning isn't something you wait for. It's something you build. Step by step. From exactly where you are. If you've made it to this video, it means there's still a spark in you. Even if it's small. Because people who are completely numb, don't search. Don't ask. Don't listen. And I need you to hear this. You're not broken. You're not too late. You're not starting over too many times. You're growing. And growth often looks like stillness. Like starting from zero. But zero is the perfect place for something real to begin. This whole series wasn't about perfect lives. It was for the ones who survived. And want to learn how to live again. If you're ready, not for a leap, but for truth. Here's your first step. Don't go back to what broke you. Don't wait until you feel ready. Start here. With yourself. As you are. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to be honest. Because real journeys don't begin with hype. They begin with truth. And the fact that you're still here means you've already begun.